Awesome. Hey everyone, welcome to this webinar today. I'm super excited to be here. I just want to thank Breed and Women in Tech for having me here to chat about confidence because it's something that we all go through on a daily basis, whether it's in the workplace, in business, in personal life. And today's topic, I will be talking about um, bridging the confidence gap, how empowered women can lead the world through AI. For me, this is a big topic that I like to talk about because AI is here to stay. AI is something that's ever evolving every single day. Every single day, there's a new update, there's a new app, there's just something new in the world of AI. And I know sometimes it can be super scary when we have technology that we're not really familiar of. I mean, when the internet came out, a lot of people questioned it, a lot of people feared it. A lot of people think it was going to take away jobs. And yes, some jobs will be eliminated, but some jobs will also be created, right? So I think there was a report from the World Economic Forum that mentioned even with the number of new jobs created with AI and the number of jobs being eliminated through AI, there's still a surplus of like 78 million jobs created. So, um, and as women, we have a gap, right? A lot of women fear it. I totally get it. It was hard for me to go to utilize AI because for me, I didn't trust it in the beginning, but I also realized in order for things to change, we have to utilize AI for good, right? AI is a tool like anything else, right? If you use it for good, good things will happen. If you use it for bad, of course, bad things will happen. And so it's up to you how you utilize it. And it doesn't work unless you tell it to do something. So, for me, ever since I've utilized AI, it's really been I'm for me it was a godsend. So I'm gonna start with our presentation, and if you have any questions, feel free to put it in the chat. We'll have some time for some Q&A, and let me know if you guys can see my screen. Um, you can just put a thumbs up or um, I think you guys can see my screen, right? If you can do a thumbs up, anybody, just to let me know. Awesome. Thank you. So today's presentation is Bridging the Confidence Gap, How Empowered Women Can Lead Through AI. So the challenge. The world is changing, leadership must too. AI is transforming the world. Artificial intelligence is reshaping industries, redefining work, and influencing every aspect of society, from healthcare to education to policy. Those who lead in AI are shaping the future of humanity. Women are underrepresented in AI leadership. So women make up less than 25% of the AI workforce and an even smaller fraction in executive and decision-making roles. This underrepresentation means fewer diverse voices influencing how AI is designed, governed, and applied. So this is a big deal because, of course, we want to be able to change the narrative, shape how the world works, especially as women. There was a report from the World Economic Forum again that mentioned that total gender parity would be achieved at the earliest in the year 2158. So when you think about that, that's about 133 years from now. It'll take probably at least 5 generations before we see it, and that number could still change with the current situation that we're in. So this is why for me, it is important as women we embrace AI, utilize it for good, and use it to share our voice, be the leader that we're seeing today. The barrier isn't ability, it's confidence. Women constantly show the skills, talent, and potential to lead in AI. What often holds them back is the confidence gap, hesitation to step forward, take risks, and claim leadership roles. Confidence, unlike systemic barriers, is something we can actively build and close. So if you've ever been there feeling you're not good enough, feeling like there's someone better out there, I totally get it. I was like that. I didn't think, I was good enough to speak, to write books, to even utilize AI. And I just said, in order for me to do things differently, to change, I have to step into this, even if it's scary, even if I have no clue what I'm doing. So the confidence gap. So, the confidence gap, what is it? It's the gap between what learners know and what they actually do because of low self-belief. So really, it's not that you're not capable. You're way more than capable than you realize, but really what holds you back is how you see yourself. And for me, it's a big deal because when we don't see our worth, when we don't see our value, we're not going to go out there and do the things that we're meant to do. So this is not about skills, it's about confidence. And I want you to realize that you are more than enough to go out there and make things happen. And you don't have to know every single thing or how that's going to happen. You just know you have what it takes to make it happen. So, um, here's some of the things that we go through. Self-doubt means skills mismatch. Research shows women often underestimate their abilities even when performing at the same or higher level than men. Many women wait until they feel 100% ready before applying for leadership roles, while men often apply when they meet only 60% of the requirements. The result, a gap between competence and confidence that limits women's visibility and opportunities. So for me, visibility is so important. That's how we can change the narrative, create history, have more women in leadership. Systemic barriers and internal barriers. Systemic bias in hiring, lack of mentorship, underrepresentation in STEM, and leadership pipelines. Internal imposter syndrome, feel of failure, reluctance to self-promote. As women, who goes through imposter syndrome? I know I do. Even till this day, there's still moments where I go through imposter syndrome where I'm not feeling good enough, where I feel like there's someone better out there. And I've learned to use imposter syndrome as something good. For me, it's a sign that I'm moving on to the next level. And so when you're moving up, it's going to feel weird. It's going to feel uncomfortable. All these thoughts are going to come into your head, but you have to know that it's a sign that you're ready to move up. You're ready to take it to the next level. Fear of failure is something that, it's been ingrained in our heads since school, right? If you get an F, you fail, you're seen as like a kid that's no good, but really failure is just part of the process. There's nothing wrong with failure. Failure allows us to move forward. It helps us to build confidence. It helps us to get the results that we need to pivot, to course correct, to keep moving forward. And I had to learn to let go of failure um, it, because in the Philippines, I actually failed kindergarten for coloring outside the lines. So it was so wild to think that, right? I was given a photo to color. I couldn't color within the lines. And, I just kept coloring outside the lines. And they gave me a brand new photo of the same one to see if I could do it. And again, I colored outside the lines. And because of that, I failed kindergarten. I had to move to another school and redo kindergarten all over again, all because I could not color one photo within the lines. It sounds ridiculous, but that's what happened. And because of that, I always thought I was a failure in life and anything I touched. And it wasn't until I had the proper personal development tools that helped me realize failure is just part of the process. And I didn't fail. Coloring outside the lines didn't mean I failed. It just meant I was just meant to do something different. I was meant to color outside the lines. So I hope seeing failure is, I hope you see failure as something positive and not negative. Reluctance to self-promote. Self-promotion is uncomfortable for many women, right? Because we've been programmed to think that self-promotion isn't ladylike or it's too much. But really, especially if you want promotions, if you want to be seen as a leader, you have to be an advocate for yourself. You had to go out there and show the world what you're capable of. And I know it's uncomfortable. I still get very uncomfortable self-promoting, but that's how we can change the way we see things. That's how we can create history. You look at the Barbie movie 2 years ago, you couldn't go out anywhere without seeing the color pink or seeing Barbie everywhere, having Barbie luggage, Barbie themed Airbnbs, even a Barbie themed Xbox. And because of that promotion, the marketing plan that they had, it led to the first movie that hit $1 billion that was led by a female director. So that's a big deal. And so this is why for me self-promotion is so important. So these forces compound each other, reinforcing the cycle of underrepresentation. Opportunity, confidence can be built. Confidence isn't fixed, it's a skill. With the right frameworks, mentorship, and inner work, women can strengthen self-belief, claim visibility, and step into AI leadership roles. Bridging the confidence gap unlocks not only individual growth, but also collective progress in shaping ethical, inclusive AI. So that's what we want to do. We want to shape ethical and inclusive AI. We want to utilize AI for good because AI, again, it's a tool. It doesn't work unless you tell it to do something. You have the right prompts to create that thing that you want to create. And there's so many possibilities when it comes to AI. I remember when I first started utilizing ChatGPT, I didn't even know what a prompt was, but I just played around with it and started learning more and realizing this could be a game changer. And when we can see it as a game changer, as a way to open up different opportunities, the world's our oyster, right? So I hope you can see how AI can be good for you. So This is a framework that I've written. It's called the Visible Framework, and it's a roadmap for women to build confidence and lead in AI by amplifying their voice, owning their identity, stepping into the spotlight, doing the inner work, strengthening belief, leveraging opportunities, and elevating others. So if you see it, each letter of the word visible has a meaning to it, and I'll go into detail for each and every one of them. But it's important to have inner and outer work when it comes to building confidence so you can show up as the best leader as you can be. So I hope this framework will help you out. And if you guys need don't worry about taking notes. There's a recording. And also, if the organizers want a copy of the presentation, I can also send that over. So I want you to fully listen in and just enjoy this webinar. So voice, your voice is power. Speak up in rooms where decisions are made. Leadership begins by being heard, whether in boardrooms, research lab, or policy discussions. Women's perspectives are essential to shaping fair and inclusive AI. Silence preserves the status quo. Voice drives change. I think this is so important. I've spoken to a lot of women who are in meetings and they're afraid to put their hand up because they're afraid whatever idea they had might sound stupid, not realizing that the person beside them just had the same exact idea and was praised for it. And I want you to realize that there's no such thing as a stupid idea. Just put your hand up, share your idea because that could be the idea that could be a game changer. And if not, that's okay. At least you practice speaking up and you were able to share your idea. I think it's better to share your idea and get rejected than not sharing it at all because then you're wondering, what if I did? What if I did? And that what if can really just get to you. I know for me it can. And so for me, I'd rather just do it and know what the outcome is, and then I have feedback and then I can move forward. So be okay to start speaking up and start, speaking up can be anywhere. It can be here in the chat room, just typing something that you've learned or asking a question, just practice, right? Start small if you have to. Use your voice to challenge bias and influence AI. AI systems are only as fair as the people who design them. And this is so true, right? I think I just read an article about, um, I think one country already has like a female AI government official. And there was an article talking about it saying that it's supposed to drive equality, but it for me, how does it build equality if the person who created it was a man? So this is why our voices is so important that we have to put ourselves out there to challenge biases like this because that doesn't really represent women if they don't understand what women go through. That's just for me. Speaking up means questioning assumptions, pointing out blind spots, and advocating for ethical practices. Voice is a tool for accountability as much as leadership. So this is why your voice matters every single day. I know a lot of us think that, I'm just one person. How is my voice going to change the world? We all have to start somewhere, right? We all have to start somewhere and just start it. Start messy, just start. When I first started my journey, I started with no influence, not knowing what to do, but I realized I had a big purpose and I just went for it. So here's some examples: advocacy and responsible AI design. Women leaders in tech have already used their voice to call out biased algorithms in hiring, healthcare, and criminal justice. These voices have sparked public debate, influenced policy, and driven companies to rethink how AI is built. One strong voice can shift entire systems. So make sure, you start practicing, sharing your voice, whether it's even just sharing a status on social media. Those little things can make a huge difference. And it starts with the small daily actionable steps. I is for identity. Your identity is your power. Own who you are and what you bring. Leadership is strongest when it's authentic. Your background, your lived experience, and perspective shape the way you see problems and solution. Don't downplay them. Own them as part of your leadership voice. This to me is huge because especially growing up as an Asian woman in Canada, it was really hard for me because first off, I moved from the Philippines to Canada when I was 7. It was a huge culture shock because Toronto is a very multicultural city, one of the most multicultural cities in the world. But in the early 90s and late 80s, that wasn't represented in the media, right? All I ever saw was blonde hair and blue eyes. I felt ashamed of who I was. I didn't think I had anything to bring to the table. And it wasn't until in my 20s when I finally embraced my culture. And for me, representation is important. Visibility is so important because sometimes we need to see it before we believe it. If we see people that kind of looks like us or have similar situations or similar cultures, and they're able to overcome the problems they had to be the first woman to walk on the moon or the first woman to be a manager in a major sports team. That's huge, right? And it helps you see what's possible. So this is why who you are as a person, your life experiences, the how you're brought up can bring different perspectives. Diversity drives stronger innovation. Studies show diverse teams solve problems faster and design more effective, inclusive technologies. In AI, where bias can have real-world consequences, representation isn't just a value, it's a necessity. Women's unique perspectives strengthen how AI is imagined, built, and applied. So diversity does matter, having share different solutions, different perspectives. That's how we build that's how we can build the change we want to see. They always say that insanity is trying to do the same thing over and over again and expecting a different result. So that doesn't happen, of course, right? We need to do things differently and be innovative and you'd be surprised what you can come up with. Identity is a leadership strength, not a limitation. Too often, women are told to fit in or conform to existing models of leadership, but true influence comes from leaning into difference, not hiding it. When women embrace identity as an asset, they open doors for others and redefine what leadership looks like. I think this is so important because for so long, a lot of us feel like being different is a bad thing when being different can be your greatest strength. I remember watching the MTV VMAs, and one of the singers who won like Song of the Year, her name is Rosé. She's part of a huge K-pop group, and she also mentioned how like she felt she felt awkward because she was different growing up and and she thanked being different to being able to win that award, right? And for me that's huge because nobody ever talks about that. Nobody ever talks about that in big platforms saying, I wish my 16-year-old self can be proud of me right now and realize that who she is as a person is more than enough to be a success. And most leaders that you see, like authentic leaders, they lean into their difference. They know that them being different is what's going to set them apart. So treat being different as something good versus something bad. Spotlight, step into the spotlight. Don't wait for it. Step into visibility. Leadership isn't about doing great work, it's about making sure that work is seen. Visibility builds credibility and positions women as thought leaders in AI. Don't wait for permission. Actively seek opportunities to showcase your expertise. This was a big one for me because I was always told, especially in Asian culture, that just work hard and your work speaks for itself. I worked hard all my life, nothing happened. And I realized in order for things to happen, I had to go out there and make the first move, become a go-getter, share, the work that I've done, promote myself, show them that what I'm capable of because unfortunately when we wait for things to happen we just keep waiting, and so I want you to step into it. Share something that you did today, share a win, share something that you're proud of, and that it starts with that, just small little things. And I know being in the spotlight can be scary at times, but if we want more leaders, this is one of the things, being in the spotlight, right? So um step into it. Claim recognition for your contributions. Too often, women's work goes unnoticed or is credited to others. Recognition isn't ego, it's ownership. Speaking about your accomplishments sets a precedent. Your value deserves to be acknowledged. I think this is so important. I mean, we're always told never, don't be too braggy, be humble, don't make any noise, but it's important to share these accolades and accomplishments, especially you work hard to get to where you are today, and it's so important to celebrate it. Celebrate it from the rooftop. Men share everything that they do, and they get praised for it. It's time for us to do the same thing and get praised for it instead of being judged for it. Build a platform to inspire others. Visibility isn't just for personal growth, it creates representation. When women step into the spotlight, they normalize female leadership in AI and encourage others to follow. A platform, whether on stage, in publications, or online, becomes a beacon for the next generation. You guys already have a platform. The Read Women in Technology platform is great, where you can have mentors and mentees, where you can connect with each other, where you can have webinars like this, where you can share, just share whatever it is that you're going through or what you want to learn. that's a platform, right? And you can utilize that platform and you have a community where people can build you up and inspire each other. Inner work. Strong leaders are built from the inside out. Develop resilience and emotional intelligence. Leadership in AI or any field comes with challenges, setbacks, and resistance. Resilience helps women recover quickly, adapt, and keep moving forward. Emotional intelligence strengthens relationships, improves communication, and builds trust. These key skills for inclusive leadership. And now with the rise of AI, skills like emotional intelligence, resilience, leadership is needed now more than ever. What was known as the soft skills is actually the hard skills that we require to build. So there's no better time to build these skills than today. Confidence grows from self-awareness. True confidence doesn't come from external validation. It comes from knowing your strengths, values, and areas of growth. Self-awareness creates a solid foundation for decision-making and risk-taking. When you understand yourself, you stop competing with others and start leading authentically. There's this principle of the 80-20 rule. 80% of the work you do, it is your mindset. It is working from the inside out because that's what will give you 20% of the results, right? That 80-20 rule. Leadership starts from within. Before women can influence others, they must first lead themselves. Inner work is about aligning personal values with leadership actions. The more grounded the inner self, the stronger the outer impact. This is so important, and especially when it comes to trauma, right? We all go through some form of trauma, and sometimes we're not even aware of the traumas that's holding us back. My first book is called The Tao of Self-Confidence, which talks about the importance of working through your trauma to show up as your best self. And, for so long, women have been told to repress their feelings, don't share anything bad. But if we keep on repressing it, it's gonna creep up. It's gonna impact how we see things and our confidence as well. So it is really important to work from inside out, to work through those traumas and realize that you're not only carrying your own traumas, but the traumas of your parents, grandparents. It goes 4 generations deep. I feel like for women, it's deeper. But this work is necessary because you need to set a foundation so that you have the foundation of strong leadership, strong confidence, and be the person that you're meant to be. So this inner work is a lot more important than you think. Belief. Belief turns potential into leadership. Believe in your ability to lead, not just to contribute. Many women excel at delivering results but hesitate to step into leadership roles. Contribution is valuable, but leadership multiplies impact. Believing in your own leadership potential is the first step to claiming authority in AI. I know we've been told so many times, believe in yourself, believe in yourself, believe in yourself. And I know it sounds cheesy, but it is true. You really have to have this innate belief that no matter what happens, you will figure it out, you will make it happen. Even if you have to fall down 10 times and get back the 11th time, you know you'll make it because all the people you see online, you think they're an overnight success. Far from it. They were like an overnight success, 20 years in the making, 10 years in the making, 30 years in the making. They had to build up their belief day in, day out to realize that they can make it happen. And it didn't matter if it took them 10, 20, 30 years, if they had to try 100, 1,000, 10,000 times, they were going to make it happen because they believed in themselves. So having that belief is so important. Challenging imposter syndrome. Imposter syndrome convinces capable women that they don't belong in leadership or tech. Recognize it as a learned response, not a truth. Replace self-doubt with evidence. Your skills, experience, and perspectives are needed. You've been able to tackle things you've never even thought was possible, right? I think sometimes what we could do is even have a list of things that you've been able to accomplish. So when that self-doubt creeps up, you can look back at that list and realize, you are you're more than capable. You're amazing. Like you can tackle anything that comes in your way. And so, like I said, imposter syndrome creeps up on us because we're human. We've gone through those thoughts, but it's also a sign that we're ready to level up. Replace doubt with conviction. Confidence grows when women choose conviction over hesitation. Conviction signals trustworthiness on teams, peers, and stakeholders. When you believe in yourself, others are more likely to believe in you too. I think having that conviction is so important. Sometimes it's not what you say, it's how you say it. They can feel your conviction. They can feel that you're passionate about this topic or that your mission is the mission that you're working on to create the change that you need. And so, when you have that conviction, it's truly powerful. Your eyes, they can see that your eyes light up, your voice changes. They can feel that power when you have that conviction. So, and it takes practice. Like sometimes we might even not even our purpose is right now, but if you just start looking for it, asking the right questions, the right answers will appear, right? And sometimes that purpose might be the purpose you have at that moment, and it can still change because you're human and you're evolving. So start having that belief. That belief means everything. Leverage. Your network is your power source. Use networks, mentorship, and collaboration. No leader rises alone. The most successful women in AI rely on mentors, sponsors, and peer networks to grow and navigate challenges. Collaboration accelerates progress and unlocks opportunities that aren't possible in isolation. Building and nurturing networks is as essential as building technical skill. So, you guys are lucky because you do have a network. You have a great network of female entrepreneurs, female in tech, that you can talk to each other, mentor each other. And having this is so important because a lot of us feel like we're always alone in this journey and we're not. You're in this community because you want support, and there's nothing wrong with asking for support. It's better when we do it together. Amplify your impact by working with others. When women support one another, the effect is exponential. Sharing knowledge, resources, and opportunities lift not just one career, but entire communities. Leverage is about multiplying influence, not guarding it. I think this is so important. I know sometimes we still go through having this lack mentality that there's only one spot at the top when there's more than enough spots. And when we can learn to bring everybody up, that's how we can create the change. That's how we can lessen the number of years before gender parity is supposed to happen. So we don't want to wait 133 years. We want it to go even lower. Strategic leverage, individual effort. Hard work alone is not enough. Strategy matters. Using influence, connections, and collective strength creates far greater change than relying solely on personal effort. Leverage transforms leadership from survival mode to impact mode. So better when doing it together. Sometimes you're one connection away from the opportunity that you're looking for. And that connection could be within this network. And the last one is elevation. Rise higher by lifting others. Lift as you climb. Leadership isn't just about reaching the top, it's about bringing others along. Each milestone you achieve is an opportunity to mentor, sponsor, open doors for the next woman. Individual success becomes more meaningful when it fuels collective progress. I think for me, that is so important. You know, if you see me on social media, I'm very passionate about being visible, the importance of self-promotion, because I understand self-promotion is really hard for a lot of women, myself included. It's still very uncomfortable for me, but I realize if I don't do it, I become a hypocrite and I'm just part of the problem. And so I put myself out there to show women, especially, that it's okay to promote yourself. It's okay to share your products and services. It's okay to sell on social media. And you start a wave of other women being able to show up and be more confident. Create pathways for other women in AI. Representation matters. When women see others in leadership, they believe it's possible for themselves. Building pathways means advocating for fair hiring, create mentorship programs, and ensuring women have access to leadership tracks in AI. As rising tide lifts all boats, especially in a field as transformative as AI. So this is really important. Having that pathway to help women see AI as something for good, something that we can utilize to change the way we see things, change the history for women in leadership, and have more women in leadership. True leadership is collective elevation. The highest form of leadership is impact that outlives you. Elevation transforms personal success into legacy, a stronger, more inclusive AI ecosystem for future generations. Leaders are remembered not just for what they've achieved, but for how many they lifted along the way, right? This is all about impact and what we want our future generations to see what they can achieve, right? For me, all the work that I do is to help others see what's possible. To hope to see that this gender parity that we're talking about will go down. Maybe one day they'll say, you know what, we're actually going to move it 20 years up. How awesome would that be, right? If we could do that. And with AI, we can. Like AI, there's just so many things we can do, so many possibilities. I mean, sometimes I'm just like, oh, what kind of prompts can I use to create something? Like it's so much fun when you just let go and just learn with fun. So, and it can lead to so many things that you could achieve. So, what you'll take away: use the visible framework to build confidence in leadership. Apply the seven pillars: voice, identity, spotlight, inner work, belief, leverage, elevation as a roadmap to close the confidence gap. Gain practical tools to amplify your presence and claim leadership in AI-driven spaces. Strengthen inner work and belief. Build resilience, self-awareness, and conviction to combat imposter syndrome and self-doubt. Learn that how inner alignment fuels authentic, confident leadership. Leverage and elevate for faster impact in AI. Move beyond individual success by leveraging networks, mentorship, and collaboration. Elevate others as you rise, shaping a more diverse, ethical, and inclusive future. The future won't wait, and neither should you. The AI revolution needs women's leadership. Artificial intelligence is shaping economies, ethics, and everyday lives. If women aren't leading, the world misses out on vital perspectives, values, and innovations. Leadership isn't optional, it's necessary for AI to serve everyone, right? Not just one person. Confidence is the bridge. The gap isn't about talent, it's about belief. Confidence connects potential to influence, turning expertise into leadership. Every woman who steps forward strengthens the collective voice in AI. Your voice, your impact, your leadership. The tools are here, the framework is clear, the opportunity is now. Speak up, step in, stand tall, because the future of AI needs not just more women, but your leadership. When women claim their voice in AI, we don't just close the confidence gap, we open the door to a future led by courage, inclusivity, and innovation. And so that was the end of the presentation. We have a little bit of time for some Q&A. If you'd like to connect with me, I'm on social media. Check out my websites, my books, and other resources. You can scan this code. I hope this presentation was eye-opening and helps you realize that AI is something that we can utilize for good, and as women, we need to learn to use it for our advantage and to help everybody else. So, and if you need a copy of this, I'll send it over to the organizers so they can also send it to you. So let me just, how do I Oh, I was trying to find the stop sharing screen and I couldn't find it. But yeah, if anybody has any questions or anything they've learned, feel free to, um, unmute or share it in the chat. This is one way we can start practicing speaking up, sharing our voice. So yeah.
Everyone's very shy today, Sheena. Um, how do people find the session? Is there anything there that you found?
Yeah, I thought it was really good. Thank you very much,
You're
Sheena,
welcome.
for going through that with us. I appreciate it. I am a program controls manager, so it's sort of project management. And just curious, you talk like your presentation is about AI. How
Mhm.
do you really get into AI as a career? I mean, what's the main areas?
I mean, there's I haven't really dealt with what different AI positions are. I mean, there's engineering,
Okay.
there's utilizing it for social media, utilizing it for marketing.
Yeah.
I'm the type of person who will just ask AI, like I like ChatGPT is like my new best friend. I'm like, what can I create with this, right? What can I do to level up and things like that? And
Yeah.
because
Yeah.
when you utilize like let's say ChatGPT and ChatGPT knows your personality and knows what strengths and weaknesses you have, it'll tell you this could be a great position for you, right? So if you even
Yeah.
ask, like, it's all about asking the right prompts, right? Like,
Yeah, I think so because
yeah,
where's and the best place to look for that is, I mean, I try thinking what's a good question because I mean I enjoy AI and it's helped me out on a few occasions when I've
yeah,
had to kind of do some quick analysis, but it's just where the prompts, it's like it's endless of what we
yeah.
could actually do, but it's just how do I use it to my advantage?
Yeah, you can even ask AI, what prompt should I be asking to take it to the next like you can even ask
Yeah,
AI that,
yeah,
right? There's just so many, and even me, I'm still learning as I go, right? I utilize it for social media, for my speaking. Like for me, it's like I was like, man, why didn't I use this even earlier, right? But everything happens for a reason. But
yeah.
and it's not just like you're using it and generic responses come out. Like AI gets to know your personality, who you are, what you do, so it knows the kind of things. And I'm not saying you have to 100% believe in AI. These are just suggestions too, right? AI can still
To
make
help you.
mistakes. Yeah,
Oh,
it
yeah.
can still make mistakes because it's created by humans, and as humans we create mistakes, right? Like I remember I gave ChatGPT a photo of me and I told him to recreate something and my face totally looked different. I was like, this is not it. And like,
This is not
I
me.
yeah, and I pay for ChatGPT, so it's still not perfect, but it still helps out a lot of things, right?
Yeah, it has.
You can use it as a sounding board, just like, hey, let's just mind dump. What are some things that I can use? What careers can I do in project management and AI? And it'll give you some suggestions, right? So, yeah, I think it really comes to learning to play around with it, be curious. That's how I got into
Mm-hmm.
it. Like when I mentioned I didn't know what a prompt was, I was like, I had to look it up on Google. And now it's like when I see things on social media, and I realize like the prompts are really important. When you know what prompt to ask, it becomes a game changer. And if you don't know the prompt, you can ask ChatGPT for that prompt or Gemini or Copilot. So yeah,
Yeah,
I hope that
thank
helps
you.
out.
Yeah, no, thank you very much.